The day the music died. Now, it's not today, but like it was this week. Music history has got something into it that will forever be remembered. First of all, because it's put into song, but most of all, because it was a very tragic day that marked the music history when it happened many, many years ago. See, we don't forget things that actually impact us in that way. I was thinking about it today as I was getting up and thinking about the day, thinking about today's podcast and what I was going to create. And I thought back to the favorite time I had in music. It would have been the 1980s, of course, right? And I thought about it very much. I thought about the songs that I loved in the 1980s and why. And it reminded me because I remember, I went to this church, group of people that I hung around with back in the 1980s who impacted my life. And some of them are still in my life. Some of them still connected to, but they are connected to me because of life events. Life events, we graduated high school together. All right. We went on camping trips together. We went on all kinds of things together. And I remember those. But I think back to one of the things that my camera keeps blipping, and I'm just going to switch cameras here because it really is upsetting me that it does that. So there we go. Sorry, that one's a little bit darker, so I will have to up the lights. That's all. There we go. That'll fix that problem, won't it? So anyway, I'm thinking back about this, as I'm preparing for this episode, and I thought about it. Those people that hung around in the 1980s. I remember a time that I was actually at church or something like that, and like I stubbed my toe, or maybe it was I bumped my elbow and it hurt, or something hurt. I don't remember what it was. And that being key to the story was, I remember the leaders of our youth group. One of them was this lady, Mary Jo. And Mary Jo said to me, she said, in 50 years, it's not going to matter. Now, that was probably almost 40 years ago. She said that to me. She's right. I don't even remember it. I don't remember stubbing whatever it was. It has escaped me. I don't know why. I can't remember it. But I've always wanted to believe in a better future. So I've always kept believing in a better future, all right? And I've gotten past the little things that are stubbing my toe. They're not a major thing to worry about. They're minor, very, very minor. And I thought back to the things that really, really have impacted my life and really, really are still a memory of mine, and why are they still a memory? And I'm going to relate that today to podcasting, to live streaming, to blogging, to your business. You see, if we go back now to 40 years ago, some of the hit songs. See if you remember some of these hit songs. I was actually looking it up, and I actually have it over here on a little thing. I'm going to bring them up and talk to you guys about a few of them. That was, shall we say, I brought up like a list of the top 100 of 1981. And going through some of them, the Greg Kihn Band did the breakup song. Pat Benatar, Promises in the Dark. Van Halen, So This Is Love. Stevie Nicks, Leather and Lace. Oh, here's a band we all remember from the 1980s. A little band called Journey, with a little hit called Don't Stop Believin'. Remember that one? Yeah. Got a little memory too on that one there. You know what I mean? It was a pretty memorable song that is still to this day pretty impactful. Another one out there, all right, that most people don't read, AC/DC, For Those About to Rock. Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train. That's one we remember, huh? How about a little old band called The Police and Don't Stand So Close to Me? Just saying, some of these songs. Another band, Styx, Too much time on my hands. Wow. The Who. You better, you bet. Tommy Two-Tone. 8675309. These are songs that are 40 years old. All right. And, some of you remember them, some of you don't. Most of us remember these songs. How about these? The top 2, they say, from the 1981 songs, and most people remember them, number 2 was Joan Jett, I Love Rock and Roll. Come on, everybody remembers that song, right? How about the Rolling Stones, Start Me Up? There were several songs by Rush that came out that were very impactful in 1981. 1981 was 40 years ago. And while most of us will not remember stubbing our toe in 1981, we will remember songs like Don't Stop Believing, Start Me Up, Too Much Time on My Hands, I Love Rock and Roll. We'll remember those things. Why? Because they were recorded and played over and over again. No, I can't guarantee you're going to play my podcast over and over again. I'd like it if you did. I'd like it if you downloaded it. All right, listen to it over and over again. I really would. I think it would be great if you did that. You know what I mean? By all means, it'd make me feel happy for a day, right? But the truth is we need to be creating something of impact and influence that will last through generations. I turn this podcast cameras on and microphone on every day to record things. And every day, I hope that the message comes out when I come up with the title is something that will impact you and that you will listen to it and you will actually do an about face and make a change in your life, or keep working down the process of something that you're working on to be successful. I'm hoping that happens when people listen to this podcast. Most of us don't know what is going to impact from the content we create today. We hope that 40 years from now, it's going to be a Start Me Up like the Stones, or a Don't Stop Believing like Journey. But there's a lot of songs written in 1981 that a lot of us don't remember. Eric Clapton did a few. Do you remember them? AC/DC did a few. Do you remember them? There was a very famous song by a band called the J. Geils Band that happened back then. Do you remember it? Everything you do needs to have some sort of impact. And the first person that better impact is you. When I do these podcasts every day, all right, I do them not necessarily just go, hey, how can I go viral? Most of the time, I'm not looking to go viral. Most of these times, I'm doing something to motivate me to move on with my day. It's a bonus when it helps you. It is great when it helps you. See, because as the title of the song and today's podcast is Don't Stop Believing, I believe that I have a better future. Now, in my heart of hearts, there's things that I believe need to change. And if they don't, I think they're going to impact our world. But that's not what I put out on my podcast. I believe that when we get up and create content, we should be creating content that, number one, impacts us. Number two, impacts the people around us. And number three, hopefully, if it's made it that far, it impacts the further generations. But what would be really great? If you were listening to this podcast in the year 2061. That's 40 years from now. And I just want to say, all right, if by any means you're listening to this podcast and it's 2061, all right, and somehow it has been archived and kept around that long, by all means, I hope you've made changes in your life. Because some of the songs we're listening to today, all right, will be 80 years old at that time. The truth is we're listening to those songs because someone recorded them. Just like I get up every day and record a podcast. I don't know what the inspiration for today's podcast is going to be. Something that will be remembered, like a song like Journey's Don't Stop Believing, or maybe one of those Eric Clapton songs that we don't remember. That puts life into perspective, doesn't it? When you create content today, number one, it better impact your life. You better be doing something that impacts your life. And if you're only creating your podcast just for the simple beings that you are creating it for you, then great, start there. Second, pick somebody in your world, all right, and create the podcast just for them. You know, some of those Journey songs like Oh Sherry was written after, something that was going on personal in their lives. Jenny 8675309 was written about somebody, some personal experience. My personal experience is every day I get in my truck and try to come up with an idea as I go to get coffee to record this podcast. And I am determined to keep doing things the way I do them. Not by planning out what my podcast is going to be in the next 3 weeks. No, I don't. 90% of these podcasts are created by a title and idea 30 to 45 minutes before they are broadcast. And then I actually take the podcast and actually start recording it with an idea in my mind of where I want to go. And I see where the message takes me. Because again, it starts with motivating Tim. And my name is Tim Gillette, and this is the Simple Easy Marketing Podcast. Because Simple Easy Marketing was started because Tim actually realized the only things that worked in Tim's life was when it was broken down into a third grade level. So easy, a third grader can do it. So 99% of the things that I've created was to help motivate Tim to get his butt off and to keep believing that if he did one more thing today, it would impact his future and make it better tomorrow. And it's a bonus that it helps somebody else along the way. It's great when that bonus helps somebody and they decide to come to our Simple Easy Marketing Summit. It's a real bonus when they say, you know what, that impacts me, and I actually want to join Tim Gillette's mastermind. And I pray that somebody listening to this today becomes part of my mastermind. I enjoy helping people. And I got there by first starting to help me. Creating something like this podcast to help me. And then I found out it helped a couple other people. And then I found out that some of them shared it. So I made another episode. And then another episode. And now we're at 51 episodes. Because we got out and did something to impact myself first. And change my world so that I can help change your world. So, I want you to think back today, 40 years ago. Do you remember stubbing your toe? Cutting a finger? Falling off your bike? Maybe you were in a car accident in 1981. I don't know. Do you remember 1971? Now, I know some of the people listening to my podcast are not old enough to remember 1971. In 1971, I was 5 years old. But I do know, and I do remember the songs that made an impact on my life. And some band, the guys in Journey, got into a recording studio one day and sat down and wrote some words down that became the song Don't Stop Believing. And I'm sure that basically when they did it, they said, hey, man, we got to write this song so that it will go number one on you. So it'll be an impact on YouTube and we can get a lot of downloads. No, they didn't write it for that. They didn't write it so that it'll go viral on the internet. The internet wasn't around. Now, they were hoping to sell a few albums because of it, because that was part of their business. All right, selling albums helped them actually get a paycheck and help them actually keep that paycheck and buy things like food and cars and stuff to take care of themselves. But it started with an idea, and they put it down on paper. They weren't going, man, I hope this song gets me my Lamborghini. No, they're hoping something, probably, I don't know. I don't know the story behind Don't Stop Believing, but almost many of the hits that you hear about today, you hear the story of how the song got made up. And so many of the hits you hear, you realize that was like the afterthought song that was put in to fill a spot on the album because they needed so many songs to fill the spaces. And it became a hit. I think back to you know what I mean, to the song Come On Feel the Noise from Quiet Riot. And I remember like it was supposed to be a fill-in song and the band actually hated the song. They didn't want to do it. And I read the story about this. I don't know it personally, but I read the story how they said they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it so bad they decided to make that song sound as raunchy and lousy and ugly as possible when they recorded it. So that basically the record producer would go, that sounds like crap. We're throwing it out. Until this day, we listen to that raunchy, crappy, as awful as they can make it sound, recording that became the #1 heavy metal hit of all times. The first time a heavy metal band ever made a top 10 sale. Little things are going to impact your world. And it's not going to be because you sat down and planned about how I can make a video go viral, how I can make my podcast get 1 billion downloads. It started with, let me just do something to impact me, fill a slot, and we'll see what happens with this one. It's what I do every day with my podcast, and I hope it inspires you. If it does inspire you, do me a favor, say something in the comments. Tim, thank you for whatever. All right? Or do me another favor. If it did inspire you, hit the share button. It's on Facebook, YouTube, all right, Twitter, that you can just hit a share button and share it with your audience. But most importantly, if this did impact you, yes, I'd greatly appreciate if you shared my stuff, but why not create your own? Start today and create your own. Which day of the week is this? Thursday. Every Thursday, I'm going to create a podcast. I don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm going to do it every Thursday. Every Friday, I'm going to do a blog. Don't know what it's about, but I'm going to do one every Friday. Why don't you start with doing that and seeing if you creating content based on the crap that you're going through in life, if it can impact others. Maybe even build an audience with it, build a community, and then possibly monetize the community and actually make a living doing it. So I hope this has helped. My name is Tim Gillette. This is the Simple Easy Marketing Podcast. All right, let's say hi. Anita, thank you for joining in today. I know it's evening where you're at, but it's morning where we're at. But hey, it's always great that when Anita stops in here as just before she's ready to go to bed every day to listen to our podcast. Thank you, Anita. Go check out her actual conference she's got coming up. She's doing an awesome thing here in the next couple months. All right, with 100 top influencers in the world. Go check her out. Thank you to all who is listening, and thank you for the hearts, for the likes, the loves, the thumbs up buttons, and all that stuff that you guys give. And I want you to go out and do something to impact your world today. All right. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Tim Gillette. And also subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can go there to Apple. I think it's Tim Gillette podcast or something like that. Anyway, go check it out. Mike Wilkerson, you've struck a note. I always include it in everything I create. Whether it's my program or one that I produce, it has to be educational. 2 and 3, it has to deliver the perspective and skill set of the person conveying it to continue to establish their legacy. Right. 11:03 p.m. Can't sleep for being excited to go out of town again. I love it. So people are inspired. I love it when you're inspired and you're listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe. And, we've got one coming up. All right. If you're not part of the community, we actually have a thing called Simple Easy Events. One of the things that makes this podcast possible, Simple Easy Events. You actually will learn our Simple Easy marketing system, as well as what many influencers share their opinion, as well as people who are just starting out. We have all different levels of speakers who share in this thing on a monthly basis. It is a one-time membership of $20. $20 to join one time, and you get to attend all of the Simple Easy Marketing Summits virtually for the rest of your life. That is why. And you actually get the recordings of all the ones we've done. It's all for $20. One of the best deals you ever find on learning marketing online. No one else has a deal as good as that. And we're actually going to be giving $10 of that $20 to a local charity. And this Saturday, we will be announcing the charity of this month and who we're going to give our money to, who we're going to help. Please go check out simpleeasyevents.com. All right. Get you a $20 membership. All right. You get a lot more than that for $20. I couldn't tell you all that you do get. And be sure to subscribe. It's timgillette.com/Apple takes you to this podcast. There it is. YouTube.com/TimGillette. All right. And check out our Simple Easy Events. I'm Tim Gillette, your host. Simple Easy Marketing Podcast, episode 51 is done. I will see you tomorrow with another great message on Simple Easy Marketing. Bye now.